Welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Creators Anonymous, where we talk with people from all aspects of the media production, creative industry, and we get their backstory and how they got started and where they are now and just their perspective on everything. It's all about telling a story and it's just about, really connecting with people. Today we have Jay Gatsby. How you doing, man?
Hola, I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. So first I want to just iron it out. Do you prefer Jay Gatsby, JC? I know you might have not heard it in a long time. Jungle Boy, like where are you?
JC's fine. Yeah, JC's easiest. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Hold up, let me see if I can get my camera to focus on me, because do I look blurry?
Yeah. You've been a little soft the whole time. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's like the lighting situation. All right, guys, we're back after some technical difficulties, where I looked like I had spread Vaseline on my camera, but now I'm a little crisper. Uh, so, JC, it's really awesome because the first episode I ever did of Creators Anonymous, I actually did it with Paul, and
All right.
yeah, I was actually explaining to him that I've been a big fan of you guys ever since I kind of discovered you guys on the Dudesons vlog.
All
And,
right.
and it's crazy, like I told him, it's crazy to be telling someone that, hey, I've been your fan for a while, and not to come off in like a creepy way, but like in like a very like, it's cool to be talking to you now type of way.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I wanted to just touch on, because he was telling me how you guys both attended Full Sail, right?
Yeah.
And is that where you guys originally met?
No, not actually in school. I went to school for film, and Paul went for, I believe, music business and music production. And then after the fact, I was in a rap group that luckily nobody, well, not luckily, I love this group, but it was just like my infancy of rap. It was a group called Not Them. Me and my best friend Nelson were in that rap group, and we ran an open mic at Austin Coffee and Film, which to this day that open mic is still going strong. It's like a staple of the hip hop community in Orlando. Which you're welcome, Orlando. No, I'm kidding. But that's where I met Paul. Paul would show up with this band called the Sweet Jones Family Band, and he was the kid that always showed up in pajamas and no shoes, and he played drums really well. And that's how I first like met Paul.
Well, that's an amazing story of a friendship, of how it all started. And you mentioned you went to Full Sail for film and everything. Did you always have a passion, even through like, where did this passion start? Was it high school, middle school? Did you pick up, just a little camera like when you were in like elementary and it just clicked, or did it build over time?
It was I was lucky. It happened I was very young. It's whenever Jurassic Park came out, because I'm Panamanian. So I was in Panama, and my grandfather took me to see Jurassic Park. And as soon as we got out of the theater, I was like, "Oh, where in Costa Rica are these dinosaurs that they filmed?" And he was like, "Everything that you just saw, a group of adults made that. Like every aspect of that film you saw, people made that." And that's when I realized that, like, oh wow, because everyone around me, like my grandfather was a banker, my dad was like in the Air Force and a cop and stuff. Everybody was just like adult jobs. That's when I realized that, oh wow, I can use imagination to like make money off of later on in life. And ever since then, I was super into cameras, and I made stop motion animation films with my toys. Yeah, that's how it started.
That's dope. Like, honestly, it's awesome that you found your passion so young. uh a lot of people I speak to, it didn't click until later. You have two groups of people. It doesn't click until like later, and then they feel like they're behind, or it clicked really young and then they feel like they've only done that all their lives. And
True.
for me, it's on that spectrum where like I knew that I loved film, but I was like pursuing a job in, or like an education in like computer science, and then out of nowhere, like I was like, man, I really don't like this. So,
So what was your kind of like epiphany moment where you're like, oh wow, I should do film stuff? Like what clicked for you?
I was sitting in front of the computer in class, and I was like typing code, and I was like, I couldn't find this certain, like, just one letter or number or slash that was messing up my whole code. And then I was looking at it and it was frustrating me. And then my teacher's like, oh yeah, so next time we're gonna be inputting equations. And I'm like, oh man, we got to do math. And I hate math. I'm like horrible at math. And I was like, you know what? No, I can't. I don't see myself doing this every day for the rest of my life. And I had always loved film, and I used to make really crappy little, they're not crappy. They got a soft, like a good place in my heart. Make these little videos where I would talk and I would do little clip art animation and stuff. And then so I go to my fiance and I'm like, hey, I'm switching majors. And she was like, I support you. And there you go. I switched majors and I just started on my career. And
nice. That's what's up. That's a great start.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Wait, so you're married, Michael? No,
I'm engaged.
Oh, you're engaged. Oh, so everybody's such an adult. Paul's engaged. You're engaged. You grown-ups.
Yeah, I know. I feel like, well, I got engaged 2 years ago, so like I was even younger. Yeah. But yeah, no, she's my. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say a belated congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. She's my high school sweetheart, and I go like this because she turned me down in high school. But then,
oh, so you worked for it?
Oh yeah, no, I stayed in the picture for like 10 more years, and then it happened, dude. Persistence, you know what I mean?
Dude, that's great. That makes me so happy for you. Hell yeah.
Thank you, man. No, yeah, and so she's my best friend, and she was like, "Yo, I support you," and I went from there. But I feel like I'm behind on the curve because you see kids like doing like full features and stuff like that, and like doing like shorts, and they're like 15, and I'm like, ugh, I should have really started a little sooner, you know?
Oh no, not at all. That's the problem with social media. We're always comparing each other to everyone else. It's like, nah, you're good, dude. Yeah, everyone goes at their own pace.
No, and that's what I've learned through making this podcast. It's like I speak to a lot of people who are like, no, I started late in life, or I started a little later than you, or I started just barely before you. And it's just about how much you love it and the passion, and just keep making. And that's why that's why I make a podcast every week, because I love it. I like talking to people, and look, now I'm talking to someone that I used to watch and kind of just admire the videos of on, like, I've listened to Argentina like probably like I don't know how many times, man. Like,
dude, thank you. That stokes me out. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, but we'll wrap back into that.
For sure.
Let's go back to you going to Full Sail. Do you feel like everything that you learned at Full Sail was kind of necessary to go there? Like, did you feel like going there is what kind of did it teach you anything that you couldn't have learned elsewhere?
No. My first answer is going to be no. No, it was interesting. One thing happened at school that I needed to happen that I did not know. I don't know if it would have happened on its own, but they gave you because they kind of do crash courses, right? They do like you get like a month to do a class or a certain subject, and editing was one of our month crash courses, and I fell in love with editing. And I could care less about anything else after that. I was super into editing. So I shout out Full Sail for that. But to be completely honest, everything that I learned, I mean, in the sense of being on set and stuff, that was great. But everything that I learned to the day, like in the sense that what I use now as a human being to exist, I learned all from YouTube, to be honest. Yeah, I would just like, back in college, I would just get high and drink Red Bulls and then like go do YouTube tutorials. And that's how that's how I learned how to do stuff.
I was the same way, except with Monster, but
nice.
But I agree. Like I found that everything that I learned in school, I already kind of knew because I just watched countless YouTube videos about the subject. And then
for sure,
the hands-on stuff I do appreciate, because like my school was very hands-on about everything. We would go in and they had like a newsroom, and they had like full sets, and they had studios and private recording rooms and stuff, and that was kind of like, I appreciate the hands-on aspect, but I feel like I definitely learned more about editing, which I as well love, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, through YouTube. And I hear that from a lot of people. But you know, there's nothing wrong with going to school, guys. You know, if you like,
Yeah, no, go to school. We're not saying don't go to school. Just go to school in Norway where it's free for anyone. Don't go in the States.
don't burn a hole in your pocket, you know, learning
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
could somewhere else.
exactly. Don't become a debt slave for film. Just
Exactly. You know,
well, it's
and
funny too because film's an interesting business because you could like I mean honestly if you just like ask a couple people through Instagram or hit somebody up like if it's for young filmmakers just hit people up and be like hey could I just like shadow you guys on set. I feel like that's a way better way of learning than anything else. Plus there's so much free information online now. I mean whenever I was younger and like looking on YouTube there was like maybe I remember there's one website videocopilot.net like I learned everything from that. But nowadays, there's so many creators and so many people making content that like there's just so much free information out there. Personally speaking, in an entertainment sense, I don't see why you would spend money on it unless you want to. I don't know, have a a picture of a document that says you went to school. I guess I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird world nowadays. Everything's changing. I feel like.
yeah, the way I look at it is that like I look at people and I understand, like I see that people learn in different ways, you know, and like maybe for some people their brain really clicks when they can sit down and listen to a lecture and have someone instructing them on what to do exactly bit by bit. And then for
Sure.
me, I can learn by just watching a video and then trying to go out and do it and failing it at it a couple times, you know. But
Yeah.
I really like to push on the podcast that like there's no one correct way of getting to where we're
Oh,
going, you know.
for
Look,
sure.
you went the school route, and I feel like, you know, that's not for everybody. And then some people don't go the school route and they feel the same complete way opposite. And you know, it's just about persistence, and guaranteed you didn't get to where you are overnight. You know, you didn't make the connections you made overnight, and it's all
True.
about just doing what you love and like really going for it. And that's why I find like you guys awesome. You went from Full Sail. You were in a like, you know, already in a rap group, and
Mhm.
then how did that end? What happened there?
Whoa. That could be like a whole podcast in itself. One of I'm gonna try and long story short this as much as possible. Me and my good friend Nelson, we're in a group called Not Them. I back then was named Gentleman J. That was my rap name, and he was the dirt merchant. And Paul actually became one of our good friends because Paul became our tour drummer. So he'd go on us on we went on a tour, and he was our drummer. And then we all kind of like caravaned with a group of artists. So we all had a label. Kind of one of our friends just had a lot of money and started his own label, and then kind of caravanned us all to LA. We all like made the leap from Orlando to LA. Paul was there initially for that, and then we were just all super young and didn't know what we were doing. And then some of my friends just had like addictive personalities and problems and stuff, and because of stuff like that, things kind of just ended up falling apart once we were in LA. But and that's actually how I met in that kind of like right before I left Orlando, though, that's when I met Joey, Joey Sarson. Yeah, have you talked to Joey at all from like dude since you know Joey, right?
That is the next person I'm reaching out to.
Oh my God, Joey!
I want to get the trio. I want to get all of you guys. You know.
Yeah, get the boyfriends. Yeah. So Joey, funny story about Joey. Joey, whenever I was in Orlando, I met Joey because I was playing a show, and he was like a super fan of my group, Not Them, and he would come over all the time and try and freestyle and stuff. And then we told him we're moving to LA, and we had like a big house in LA, and he was like, "Hey, you guys got room? I'm coming in. I'm moving in." That's how Joey moved into our lives. He just moved in. But I will say, so anyway, after everything kind of fell apart, Joey, he moved out of the house first and moved to like Hollywood and got a job at this place called Fat Sal's. It's like a sandwich shop in LA. And Joey's like, "Hey, you need to like," because I was not doing anything. I was kind of being a terrible human being and just like rapping and not putting it out and not doing anything. And then yeah, Joey got me my first job, like adult job, because I refused to get a job for like the first 5 years of my 20s because I was so I just blindly believed in the fact that I would make it in music. Like I really blindly believed that. And I got as far as California, but once I got there, I got lazy, to be completely honest. So yeah, that was an interesting like learning moment in my life. But yeah, shout out to Joey. Like 2 or 3 times, Joey got us the Dudeson's job. Like Joey's hooked it up a couple times.
Man, it's funny because that's just the creator's purgatory, man. Like it really is. You make things and then you're just like, I'm just gonna keep it here. You know, I'm not gonna release it to anyone else. It's not perfect how I want it, or maybe if I had a better microphone or a better camera, I could really get it out there. You know,
For sure.
We're our harshest critics, and it happens every time. You know, I literally filmed a skit one time, and at the time I was like, oh, this is hilarious, I love it. You know, it was a play on, you know, all those tech review channels where all they do is destroy iPhones and shit. Well, I made a parody of that in my backyard where I was smashing laptops and I was like doing all these fake reviews. And then at the time I was like, oh, this is hilarious. I go to edit it and I'm just like, maybe it's not as funny as I thought. And I was like, and then it sat there, just like the raw footage sat there for like 5 months before I ever edited it. And then I thought it was funny again. And then I didn't release it. And then I released it.
Dude, yeah, the mind does a terrible thing to us as human beings. It's a weird thing. Yeah.
It really is, man. But big shout out to Joey. You know, I'm also a fan of him. And I am going to be reaching out to him soon. You know, I'm going to get the whole Dudeson's like trio game. Oh my God. The boyfriend.
Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for Joey. Joey's a hoot.
No, I can already tell, dude. But it's funny because you said that he got you the job for the Dudeson's vlogs. And I know that you and Paul were working at a furniture store at the time, correct?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. And he said that once you guys got word, you guys literally were just like, yes, like just quit. And we're like, yes, we're going to go for it. But he said that you started first and then you were going on tour and he had to fill in and then he just never left.
Yeah, he never left. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And he's like, dude, they're still paying me. And I'm like, say nothing.
Stick with it, you know, just stick with it. You know, and then he just stayed around and it just ended well. But
for sure,
I want to take you back to the Dudeson's time. You know, there were a lot of stunts and a lot of crazy things that you guys would do. And I know that Paul said that there was, like, I think he said that he didn't jump off the garage roof into boxes. You definitely did. How was that? Were you scared coming up to that? Did you second think it at all, or did you say, let's go for it?
I do. Sometimes I look back at that video and I'm surprised at how far I jumped, because if I would have gone like just a few inches more, I'd just fallen on my back. But no, I was terrified. I remember Yuka being like, because Yuka was like the best at like hyping you up for it. Because I'd watched him do crazy stuff, you know, in general from his past, but also anytime he do stuff around us, I don't know, he was really good at facing his fears, and that was kind of like what would hype me up. So yeah, Yuka hyped me up, and then I remember I went and watched a video inside. It's not in the edit, but I went inside and I watched like a video of Yuka doing the same exact thing like over and over again. And I was like, okay, if he can do it, I can definitely do it. And then I walk up there and I remember I like had to do as quick as possible because Paul was like up there making fun of me, like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm just like, yeah, I have to. Yeah, that was fun. That was like a highlight moment for me though, because I was terrified.
Yeah, no. I don't do the best with heights, but let's say if you hype me up enough, I do some crazy things. Yeah. So I might just do it. But was there anything there that like you were like, I will absolutely just not do?
There's a couple things I said no to. I remember I lost a bear mace game and I'd already been pepper sprayed once before. And okay, so one thing that people don't realize is that we're like cranking out videos, you know, every day basically. And I would shoot everything and edit everything. So sometimes anyway, I remember being extremely tired one day, and that was the day we did the bear mace thing. And I was just like, I can't like emotionally handle getting maced right now. Like, and then Paul, thank God, like jumped in for me. But yeah, that was definitely one where I was like, I just can't do this right now. Which is funny because I've been pepper sprayed twice now. But
How is
at that
it?
point in time,
You
being
looking
pepper
to make it a
sprayed,
third time?
honestly, at this point, like I know what happens, so it's not as terrible. I remember the second time we did it, it wasn't as terrible. But I will say to anyone out there that's watching this, screw a taser. Throw your taser away. Get pepper spray. If you're trying to incapacitate a human being, pepper spray 1,000,000,000% works. 1,000,000,000,000% works. Get that.
Yeah, no. Get pepper spray, guys. You heard it here. Tasers, you've seen videos where people fight through tasers, Pepper
Yeah.
sprays, at least you blind the hell out of them. You can get away.
Dude, you cannot do anything about it. Plus, you like open your eyes. Yeah. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world.
But I remember watching those videos, and they actually were part of the reason that I kind of jumped into film and film production and editing in general, because I thought, like, I would always see like people in front of the camera, and then you guys were some of the first editors I saw that were in front of the camera. You were doing behind the scenes work and like in front of the camera work. So I was like, man, I kind of want to do that. Like I've always been a fan of the Dudesons, and that's what kind of pulled me in.
Yeah.
But the interaction between Yuka and then HP Yarno and Yarpi would be there as well, and then you guys interacting and doing crazy stuff as well. But at the same time, being the editors, I thought that was just like such a dope idea, like those two worlds mixing. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to make YouTube videos and stuff. And
Cool.
yeah, yeah. But I thought it was so dope. And then after you guys end up leaving, was that hard? Was it hard to say like goodbye to that point in life and just moving on to something new, like a new project?
It was definitely scary. But for me personally, I felt like at that point in time, it kind of ran its course. And it was also one of those like moments in my life. I don't know, but I can't speak for the other guys, but it was one of those moments in my life, personally speaking, where I was like, because I always wanted to make music happen. And I was like, well, if I'm not going to do it now, like, when am I, And as much as, I miss those guys. I miss Yarno. I miss Yuka. I miss Yarpi and HP. I love them so much. They were like our family for those like 3 years. And yeah, it was hard. I mean, it was easy at the time, but I remember like after the fact, it was like very scary because I didn't have anything. I didn't have a job set up. I just broken up with like my girlfriend of like 4 years. It was a series of just, I slammed every door shut that was like going in my life. But I'm a firm believer that every time you shut a door, hallways open up. So yeah, because right after that, Paul and I moved in together with our best friends Des and Jesse, and that's whenever, I mean, a little bit after that, maybe like 6 months later, the inception of That Kid Is You happened. So yeah, everything happened in a weird, kind of cool way, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that'll bring us to our. I can imagine. No, it's you guys were so integrated into the channel as well. Like it wasn't just something that you could just pick up and disappear and then like everything would be the same. It's you guys were really deep into the channel, and then transitioning on. One day you guys just weren't there, and I know that there were goodbye videos and stuff, but I was so happy when you guys ended up making the Boyfriends channel, and believe me, I've watched a lot of those videos. You guys left me hanging for 2 years already.
Oh my God,
video
so sorry.
was 2 years ago.
We've just, okay, for anyone who cares about the Boyfriends, we have been talking about the 3rd season, so hopefully it'll happen soon. But yeah, we have been talking about it because I was watching them recently with a friend of mine, and like, they're so funny. To me, they're so funny.
Look, I don't remember laughing at a video as much as I laughed at Juggalo Love Song and stuff, and cheap cocaine versus expensive cocaine, like $1,000 cocaine. Like those videos, literally, I remember I watched them at work at the time, and I actually like laughed out loud where I was a little embarrassed, So
dude, that warms my heart.
No, and their original ideas, it's offbeat humor. I love the offbeat humor. You know, I just love the whole idea of it. Like they're comedy skits that don't feel, you know, overused like some other comedic skits. So
Cool.
I'm holding you to it. I'm holding you to it, man. We're gonna go ahead, and I need to, you know, sometime in the future. There's no rush. Season
Okay,
3,
thanks.
just waiting. You know.
Thanks for not rushing. Yeah, I don't know. In a perfect world, it'll be 2 seasons in a movie, and we'll wrap up what what happened at the end.
You know, anything can happen. You know,
It's
anything
true.
can happen. But
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and we'll segue, you know, into, you know, with the boyfriend's whole thing. Do you remember a specific video where you were like, oh, this could be like big, or, you know, or where you're like, we really got something here?
No, it's funny, no, because at the time we were holding ourselves accountable by being consistent, because we were trying to like do a video a week and stuff. And I think, yeah, I forgot why we kind of, I think we stopped because Joey got a big boy job. That's what it was. Yeah, Joey got like a adult job, and he was like, guys, he literally was like, guys, I'm trying to be an adult. We can't do this kid shit anymore. I'm just me making fun of Joey, but he probably wasn't exactly like that. But no, I remember Joey got a job, and then yeah, and Paul and I were just making music more, and then we're like, oh wow, I think we have a project here. Let's like focus on this. And that's kind of why, yeah, just didn't have enough time. Plus, like Paul was working and I was working. It was like hard to like juggle. Maybe it would have been easier if it was just Paul and I, but like, there's no boyfriends without Joey. So if Joey wasn't there, like, yeah.
Yeah, at that point it would just be boyfriend. You know, you and Paul.
Yeah.
You need,
Yeah, exactly.
you need the third person. But so perfect. You're talking about the project that you guys jumped into. You know, That Kid Is You. Guys, go ahead, check it out. Argentina is a work of art. You know, their album, it really is good. I did want to shout out the song Chocolate. It is it's my fiance's favorite song from the album.
Hey, nice.
Blood sugar's low, you know, slice of that cake. That's personally my favorite line of like the entire album. That it's so well formulated and it's perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I know that you guys went and formed That Kid Is You. You guys put a lot of effort and time into it. Did it start as, you know, hey, let's just get some songs out and like it's a fun friend project, or from the get-go did you guys know like, oh, we want to take this like all the way?
Paul and I had been like, we had lived in North Hollywood while working for the Dudesons, and right before we moved to because we moved to Encino, that was where we made That Kid Is You. But he had been making a bunch of beats and just like sending me half songs. I was like, hey, you want to write on this? Because it sounds like it'd be cool if you wrote on it. So honestly, it was a little bit of that, plus like actually, yeah, no, it was all that. And then Paul was like, hey, we have like 6 songs here that are like really good. We should do something with it. And then because we're like, I mean, we're fairly lazy when it came to our art. So we sat down in his room and like worked on these songs. And then I remember one night, which is funny because we have like different origin stories. Like Paul has a different in his head than I do. But I remember we were trying to come up with a name. And what I remember was we got drunk and wrote a bunch of stuff on his dry erase board. And then like, all I remember was like passing out and then waking up in his room and looking at the dry erase board. And there's like all these smudges of things being erased. And the only thing left was That Kid Is You. And that's what I remember. Paul, yeah, it's more magical in my story. Paul's just like, no, dude, we like actually talk about this. But I don't remember talking about it. That's the way I remember it. But yeah, and then we're like, you know what, let's like, these songs are really good. Our friends, like our best friends love this music. So let's take it seriously for once. Cause like at that point in time, we'd just kind of been making music for fun. And both Paul and I have always wanted to like do music for a living. So we're like, if we're going to make it happen, we have to make it happen now. Yeah. And that was that. And it was interesting too, because when we made that decision that we wanted to like do that, all these weird universal things started falling in our paths that like honestly helped us on the road to Argentina. If it wasn't for us, making That Kid Is You, we would have never gotten to Argentina. So that, it was really fucking cool.
That's awesome. It's funny because like Argentina has this similar to like, it's kind of like scattered, but it has this theme that kind of holds it together. Um, it like, from like the witty lines to the funky beats and stuff like that. Where do you find like some of the inspiration coming from this?
Oh man, I to be completely honest, it was like really hanging out with our producer Nico, Nico Calwell. He's an amazing human being, and also just like and his family. To be honest, I feel like the energy from his family and him in the studio, and just me being there with my best friend Paul and making music, like I don't know, it was just so much fun. And we didn't realize that we would like, because like we ended up like we went to Argentina, we had an Airbnb, and we ended up staying with Nico and his family, his wife Lauda, his kids Huli and Maya, who Maya is all over the actually Maya and Huli are all over the album. Huli played she makes her own instruments. She's like 10. She makes her own instruments and she played a bunch of the instruments on the album. And then Maya is like 16 and her vocals is one of the first vocals you hear in Tres Patitos. That's her on Sueños de Ti. That's her. She's like an amazing vocalist. But dude, but yeah, they're like, I don't know. We just fell in love with their family. So they're like our family now. And I feel like that mixed with, yeah, being in Argentina in general was super fun. It's such an artistic place. Human beings that are just, I don't know, just the most passionate human beings I've ever met in my life. And it really rubs off on you when you're there. But it's interesting to hear you say all that, because there wasn't, I mean, the only thought process was just like having fun, really. Never thought about it in any other sense. And then to me, it was kind of catharsis because I was working on bettering myself as a human being because I had been a serial monogamist all my 20s. And I wanted to, be better for eventually a new partner one day. So I was just trying to like better myself, and in bettering myself, a lot of that writing for me was just getting a lot of like figuring myself out. To be honest, to me, that album for me, on my words anyway, is me figuring myself out.
Well, it really comes through not only with the lyrics but the emotion, with the beats and how everything's so nicely constructed. Such standalone things that get meshed and come out really well. Isn't it amazing how it happens? Like you expressed yourself through this album in a way of like helping grow yourself in general. You had such a good time, you said, doing it, and you were doing it to help yourself grow as a person. And that's what our art does for us. We make things to express ourselves that we can't express in any other way, because our minds work creatively in a sense. And yours was like the outlet was music, and was the album, and it just really comes through, because I can tell just by listening to it how much fun you guys were having making it. And I think that's so important. Yeah, I think it's so important because the same type of emotion doesn't come through if you're not having fun. You can listen to a song and just be like, wow, this is really dry. Like the bars are great, the beat's sick, the mood's not there, the vibe isn't there,
For sure.
And you can really tell that you guys had a good time. But it makes sense, you're basically with family making this project, and like it really comes through. JC, why Jay Gatsby? Is it a homage to Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby? Or
yeah, it's one of my favorite books. And it was Jay Gatsby because to use a Pokemon analogy, so whenever my old rap name was Gentleman Jay, and then I was like, I didn't want to be Gentleman Jay anymore because it had like my old life, attached to it. So I was like, oh, who's a cool gentleman that's like rap? Who would you want to be? And I was like, oh man, I want to be Jay Gatsby. So then I changed my rap name to Jay Gatsby. Yeah.
Do you ever aspire to throw Jay Gatsby-esque grand parties like he does?
Oh my God, I would love to. It's funny too because like in the parties he's waiting for Daisy or whatever. Yeah, no Daisy. He's waiting for Daisy, and he's kind of like watching from afar at all times. And, bro, that is me to a T. My favorite thing to do at parties is Irish goodbye. Like like I don't know. I love wearing suits, love Irish goodbying, so I feel like it worked out.
Do you find yourself uh, at the long end of the party, just watching everyone enjoy themselves?
Oh, sometimes people watching is one of my favorite things to do in parties. But also parties for me are also great for finding songs, because then like you have a conversation with a human being and they might say something that you just would have never ever thought to put that emotion in those kind of ways. And then it's like, oh wow, that's a song idea. So that's another thing that I love doing is going to parties, having conversations. I can just steal everyone's ideas and write it down in my notes and hopefully make a song out of it.
It's not stealing, it's planting the idea, and then you take the plant,
True.
It's a seed.
True.
You grow the plant out of the seed. But
exactly.
So I love the name idea. I love the story behind the name. You evolved into a greater gentleman.
Yeah. I went from Charmander to a Charizard.
Exactly. So, and the music, it's great. Where do you see yourselves, like, or what's the next step for That Kid Is You?
We are actually in the midst of talking to a management kind of label situation, because here's the thing. We're Paul and I are great at creating stuff, but when it comes to businessy things and adult stuff and like marketing and showing people that we make things, we are terrible, and we're very self-aware of this. So so anyway, we're talking to this management group right now, and hopefully they'll help us get more ears on Argentina, as well as I believe in February we might go back to Argentina and or Uruguay to make the sequel, just make the next project. But also Paul and I sitting on maybe like 4 other albums. So we have like a lot of really, really good music that sounds honestly completely different from what you guys have heard. So that's gonna be cool to eventually release.
Perfect. I can't wait. Hit me up, throw a link my way. I'll share it as much as I can whenever you guys release anything new. I'm a big fan. And it's funny because, you're saying that you're not good with the business aspect and the sharing and distributing aspect, but hey, that's why management was created.
True.
Talent don't got time for it, so management was created for that specific reason.
Talent has time for it, just talent gets too anxious when it comes to posting anything. So I'm just bad about it.
Our minds work in a different way, in a more creative way. Managers have a logical, a logistic way of looking at things. My mind, doesn't go in a straight line. It goes in waves. It's different.
For sure, 1,000%. In that sense, like I just need like a mom, just like a business mom to tell us what to do, and then we'd be good.
Exactly. But I can't wait. New projects on the way, like you said. Distribution on the way. A lot more ears. Neil listen to Argentina. And guys, I will be posting the link down below, so make sure to click that. Oh, and also follow Jay Gatsby Raps on everything.
Yeah.
When I say everything, Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. I went on your SoundCloud actually, and I went all the way down, and I wanted to hear the first thing you had posted, and it was it was 7 years ago, and it said it's Shades, your remix.
Oh yeah.
And I was wondering, like, do you ever go far back to listen to where you came from and see how much you've progressed over time?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. There's actually way more stuff on my Bandcamp. If you go to jgatsby.bandcamp.com, I think it's jgatsby.bandcamp.com. Like my first like little projects whenever I first became what's it called? Jay Gatsby's weird saying that out loud. Or Jay Gatsby Raps at bandcamp.com, whatever. And then there's also like the Not Them stuff that's still floating out in the ether. If you want to see super young me with a mullet rapping, that would be Not Them. And Paul also has a bunch of secret music out in the ether and the internet that's just like a bunch of rap songs that people have never heard too. Like there's a lot out there. There's also, nobody knows this, but there's also, we actually had a YouTube channel when we first moved to LA, because we called our house The Island. And that's when we first started doing sketches. So if anybody ever finds those sketches, they're somewhere out in YouTube's world as well.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do a deep dive. Don't worry, I'm really good at investigating things, so I'll eventually find them.
That's gonna be a hard one to find, but if you find it, oh, you're in for a treat.
I'll do my best. But some of your newer stuff, like let's say the videos that you've come out with for That Kid Is You, and like just more recent music videos, they're very creative, and I know that you do a lot of DIY stuff. Like it's all you guys, you know, you guys just building stuff from scratch, and you guys filming and editing. Do you ever find yourself looking at something going, that would make a great video, and just take, you know, creativity or, you know, inspiration from things like that?
Yeah, sometimes. I actually follow this one Instagram account called Nowness, I believe it's called. They just post a lot of like weird creator stuff. But honestly, I will say for like the first project music videos though, a lot of those ideas just came from like funny things we saw. Or actually one of my favorite videos came because we were lazy. The music video for wow, why can't I think of it? Oh, Real Name, where it's just like stagnant shots of us kind of. We're like, how can we make a music video that like it's super easy and it's fun, but like we do no work. Like we don't have to really edit this. And that's how we came up with that idea. Same with the like one shot video. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the ideas come from me and Paul just having conversations. We think something would be funny, and then it just ends up being a video somehow. Yeah, but that's also what I'm trying to do more now in my life is I'm trying to edit less and direct more, because I want to stand up more.
I get you, man. That's and that's the next step. And all it is persistence and learning your craft and practicing. And like I know you're gonna start directing, you know, your passion project soon enough.
hopefully, yeah, it'll be cool one day.
Yeah, but like I see a lot of your videos. I love the work. You know, some are comedic, some are just like such a vibe, you know. You jumping into jacuzzis from the second floor, and all that, you know, you standing on the roof of a gazebo and everything. It just looks like a blast. You guys just look like you guys are having fun. And I think that's the most important part that like about being a creative is having fun with your craft. You know, you just have to really love what you do, because first of all, it's tough just getting the start. So if you don't love what you do and like love what you're practicing and what you're going for, it's just better off not done. You know, you got to love the editing, you got to love the creative process behind it, because the world's going to like throw you some curveballs and you just got to go with it. You know, you take a hit to the head from a baseball, you just got to keep going.
This is very true. Yeah.
Did you ever have a point where you wanted to just be like, maybe the music thing's not working out, I just got to get a real job, and then you were like, nah, let me it's what I love? You ever have a tough moment like that?
I used to, but then I used to think like that. That was like in the middle of me being in LA. I was definitely thinking like that. I've never thought ever to quit music, but I definitely was like, oh man, I should get like a grown-up job because that's what everybody else is doing. But then I think that like I made a paradigm shift in my brain to just like stop worrying about that. And the interesting thing about life is as soon as you let go of a fear, like the thing that you were scared of, like let's say you're, I don't know, scared of not making money. As soon as you lose that fear, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, here's all this money, start here, here's jobs. Like it's a really, really interesting thing. So yeah, I've kind of lived by that. I mean, you're also, dude, young me, like young me would just base my life off of wishing on a star. I shit you not. If things were going bad for me, I would stare at the sky every night until I saw a shooting star, and then I would have like hope again. And that was like what got to, personally speaking, I feel like that's what got me to LA, because I was a lazy kid who like just knew how to rap. I didn't lift a finger. in like a, you know, a customary sense of how people get somewhere. But yeah, I think that the world is more magical than we think it is, and if you blindly believe in something, it'll show up.
You got to put your whole heart into it, right?
1000%. Yeah,
And who knows, maybe that shooting star actually did pay off. Why, you know, who knows?
dude.
It could
Maybe.
be, it could be the reason. It could be the reason.
Yeah.
But you know, I know that you were mentioning that you do some editing still for YouTube. What can you disclose any channels that you're currently working with, or that you've recently worked with?
Yeah, I used to, like, right after the Dude Sins, I kind of did freelancing. I was working on like movies, doing first AC work, and then did freelance YouTube edits for people. My main client for a while was my homie Manny MUA. I was in the makeup community for a while. So Manny, shout out to Manny, he's hilarious. Laura Lee, I still work for her, she's the best. And then I just finished, for the past year, actually, I've been the main channel editor for ZHC. I don't know if people have heard of that. It's like he's like the Mr. Beast of art. But yeah, I worked for Zach for like a whole year. I recently quit that, and now I'm kind of editing right now for what's his name? You know, Nelk Boys, the Nelk Boys. Oh, well, Jesse, he has a channel called Full Send. Yeah, Full Send, and I'm currently doing stuff for them right now. Yeah, those the tubers that I've worked for.
How's that going? How's editing for them going?
Oh, so funny, because they just do like jackassy prank stuff, and it's so fun to like watch. It's hilarious. So yeah, it's really fun.
Well, that's awesome because you get first view of everything that they do, you know?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah, I know what's up.
Well, it's awesome to know that you're still there. You're still editing. You're still doing something you love, because you mentioned that ever since Full Sail, you loved editing. And you're still working on your craft and your music. And I know that you said that there's big things to come for That Kid Is You, and I can't wait. How's Mexico? How is Mexico?
Oh, dude, it's beautiful. Yeah, I live in a town called Sayulita. It's right by the beach. I literally wake up, walk out my door, and I see the ocean. I've been here now for almost a year, and now so I love it, dude. I was whenever I was young, my first memories of life is in Panama when I was little with my dog, and we would just go to the jungle and follow ant trails throughout the jungle. That's what my upbringing was. So I never realized how badly I feel normal by the jungle as opposed to being in the concrete jungle. So I'm extremely ecstatic.
Well, that's awesome. At least you're somewhere that you like really do enjoy. You know, some people are stuck in a city and they're like, oh, I can't stand this traffic. I can't stand this city. I can't wait to get out of here. You seem super happy to be where you are. So
yeah, so
at
happy.
least, yeah, it's a plus. Do you see yourself being there long term, or is it for just like taking it step by step, seeing what the future holds?
Taking it step by step for right now. That's I guess the one beauty of being an editor is that we can just work remotely. So I'm taking full advantage of that. I originally was going to move to Argentina. That was my plan. So yeah, I'm personally speaking, I'll probably be bouncing around the world for a while. I think that's how I'm going to play it. Trying to stay on this side of the world though, for this year, so that we can get a Grammy or something. I'm trying to like, I've never believed in something as much as I believe in Paul and I. So I'm like really, I really want that to work.
Great, man. You gotta have that belief, you know, like I tell everyone, it's, you gotta have that confidence in yourself, in your craft, in that you're going to make it, because anything less than that, it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where you think negatively, so it's going to happen negatively. You got to just put the blinders on and just keep moving forward, because honestly, you got to put yourself in situations where even if you feel uncomfortable, you're going to try to push through it and believe in yourself and just go for it. Because for me, for my fiance and I, we were working at this call center job for like close to 3 years.
Yeah.
I graduated in TV and radio production, and right when I graduated, everything went into lockdown for the pandemic. There were no
Oh
jobs
yeah.
open, so we were working remotely. We stuck with it. Just it's so mind-numbingly like boring, and it's not what either of us wanted to do, because she does digital art and I do film.
Cool.
Yeah, and so one day, like, we literally woke up and we sent each other a message, and we're like, and it's funny because I was working from the kitchen, she was in the room, so we sent each other a message, and we were like, is it today? Are we quitting? And she was like, yeah. And we both sent in the message at the same time. We're like, we're out. And then I got my job in media. She got an even better
Nice.
job. She's still going to school for digital art and everything. But you got to put yourself in those positions where you might feel uncomfortable, but have enough belief in yourself that you're going to make it. And things turn out well, because now we're in a better place than ever, and
That's great.
yeah, and I know that you have the mindset of you're going all the way. And I find that, I admire that a lot. And I think that I honestly believe the same thing. You guys are going all the way because you have the passion for it. And I've spoken to Paul, he has the passion for it. So I know as a duo, you guys are fucking killing it.
Oh, dude, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That means the world.
Dude, I also told Paul that once you guys sell out your first stadium, I need backstage access. Like, I gotta go. I want to be there.
Oh, bro, we'll do like, yeah, the opener will be us doing a podcast with you. Everybody will have to deal with it. Yeah, it'd be great.
Perfect. Awesome. But it's great that you're living somewhere where you love it, and somewhere that's beautiful. And but did you ever, like, is this some place that you visited before, or were you just like Mexico?
Like maybe 4 years ago, two of Paul and I's really good friends, Jesse and Steve, they actually won what show is it? The Wayne Brady show. They won a game show. While they were on the game show, they had a clip that went extremely viral. And my buddy Steve is a comedian, and my friend Jesse is an actress. And they hit me and Paul up to like, they wanted to like, what's it called? Bounce off of the fact that they went viral and make some sort of content for it. So anyway, long story short, they had seen our boyfriend stuff and liked it, and they wanted kind of like a version of that. So they had me come with them, and I shot and directed a whole thing here. But this is the town that we came to when they won the trip. And my first night here, I made friends with my friend Janelyn, and now she's my best friend. And that's been my connection to this town ever since. And I've loved this town. And then, yeah, came back. But yeah, it was all because they freaking won a game show. It's like the most random thing ever is how I showed up here.
How the stars align, man. How the stars align.
Super crazy.
Yeah, the domino effect, man. It went from that to now you're living there, you're loving it, and you're still following your passions, and that's dope.
Yeah.
But JC, I really want to thank you for actually taking time out and talking with me today.
Of course, dude.
It's been crazy awesome. Is there anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to like throw out there? Any friends that you want to plug? Anything?
Oh my god, I want to plug all my friends. Yeah, that's like, how do I don't even know what to say. Wow, like I'm on the spot. Yeah, we're gonna be dropping a lot of music soon. Check out our great, so our Dude Tunes, he's on our album. He's the only feature on our album, at least rap feature on our album. Everybody check out Dude Tunes. He's one of the best rapper, singer, producers in the world. He's honestly one of my favorite people. John Mason is just one of my good friends who I met here actually in Sayulita. He's from Scotland, and he's an amazing singer and guitarist. I've actually like directed a video for him. Our great friend Clifton, Cliftun in LA, is killing it. He's destroying the world. Anthony Payne. There's so many people. I don't know. DM me if anybody wants to know a list of people. I'll put it in the comments section whenever you post this of everyone that I love that you should check out that are my dear friends.
Perfect. Or if you want to send it to me, I'll just put it in the description as well. I have no problem with that. I love promoting people. I love,
dude.
Yeah, like I love it. I love, getting an audience to everybody, because I feel like everyone in this industry has to help each other out. It's not about, if someone has these fans, then I can't have them. There's enough to share. So, just promote everyone.
Sure. Yeah, 1,000%.
But awesome. We'll go ahead. We'll leave those descriptions down below. Remember, guys, SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Jay Gatsby Raps. Make sure to go ahead and check them out. Make sure to check out That Kid Is You. Make sure to check out Paul Brisky. Just check it all out. Leave a like, follow, subscribe on all of them. Make sure you give them the love that they honestly deserve, because they've put in a lot of work on their craft. They've polished it to make a amazing album and amazing videos. Also, go check out Boyfriends again. Maybe if they see that jump in views, they'll start working on the next couple of videos. Go ahead and check that out. You won't be disappointed by those videos. They might be 2 years old, but they are quality. Okay.
Oh, dude, thank you so much.
But guys, also for Creators Anonymous, go ahead and click the thumbs up, hit subscribe, share the video, hit the little bell so you're always up to date with anything coming out Creators Anonymous side. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and follow my Instagram. They'll be down below. But honestly, this has been such a good time, JC. I would love to do it again, anytime in the future, because I feel like our conversation was on point.
Thank you so much, Michael. Yeah, holler at your boy. Next time I'll interview you.
Oh, I'll love it. Less pressure for me.
Yeah, right. Oh, no, you did great, dude. You're a great host. Seriously.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All this is literally off the top of my head because I like having conversations, and I have a very bare bones outline. I didn't even use the outline. But
no worries. I couldn't tell.
Awesome. That's what I was hoping for. But guys, if you like the video or not, like I always say, I'm going to keep making them because it's what I love to do. I love connecting with people and sharing their stories and really using this platform to connect to people in fucking Mexico. JC's in Mexico, We've gone from Canada to California to Oregon to Mexico. We've been all around North America, and they're going to keep coming out. So make sure to keep tuned because, we're just going to keep getting better and better from here. JC, thank you very much for your time, and Creators Crew, take care.
Gracias, Michael. Ciao.